The popular Mad Money host has come out and listed 10 stocks that he believes needs to do a stock split to keep this momentum in the market going. In his words, quote, "If you want the market to keep climbing, these 10 companies and many more need to start taking their cue from Tim Cook and Elon Musk, aka they need to split their stocks as well." And really, to you and me, a stock split shouldn't really change our investment thesis. We shouldn't invest in a company because of a stock split or not invest in a company because of a stock split. However, to new retail investors, this is a very appealing thing. Jim puts it perfectly here. He says, in short, splits are good for home gamers, bad for professionals. And we know what happens after the split. This new cohort of investors, the ones who love low dollar amount stocks, will start buying and holding these best of breed names rather than the darned penny stocks. Now, in my previous stock split video, I explained the background and reasoning for a stock split, so watch that for some context if you don't really understand what's going on here. Does it affect the valuation of the company and all these kind of things? I answered that in that video, but really it's clear that new investors are attracted to stocks with a lower dollar value per share regardless of the market cap of the business. So what are these 10 stocks that Cramer lists out? That's what we're going to go through, but before we do, guys, consider hitting that like button down below. It helps the channel out tremendously, and as always, thank you so much for your support. Now, let's kick off this list with number 1. Of course, Amazon tops the list here. It's the most popular stock, I'd say, that needs a split and has many eyes on it for this announcement to come soon. Amazon has done a few stock splits in its past and pretty much in its early history back in 1998 and 1999, but since then has grown into one of the most quote-unquote expensive stocks in the market. I think it's likely we see something like a 10 for 1 to bring this to a more reasonable, roughly $300 per share stock price. Alphabet, ticker symbol Google, is the next one here that's on people's mind. And although this chart doesn't show a split, back when you see this big drop in 2014, Google did in fact do a stock split on their GOOGL ticker with a 1,998 for 1,000 split. And I think for Google, Alphabet, it's very likely we see a stock split here as well sometime soon, maybe like a 3 for 1 or a 4 for 1. But I think Google still wants to maintain that premium price tag appearance, so I don't see a split where the stock goes under $100 per share. Chipotle is a high flyer that could see their stock split as well, and this is a new one because they have never done a split in their history before as a public company. Their share price is well over $1,000 per share, and many see this as a very expensive stock, so a split like a 10 for 1, for example, would be very appealing here and would surely attract the millennial crowd because Chipotle is actually one of the go-to food chains that seems to have gotten a ton of traction with this age group because of their healthy and high quality foods. Netflix is next on our list at number 4, and the stock is approaching a $500 per share price, so some may say a stock split is well overdue here as well. Netflix has done 2 splits in the past, once in their early days with a 2 for 1, and one more recently with a 7 for 1. I would expect something like a 4 for 1 or a 5 for 1 here for Netflix if we do see a split, to bring it back close to that $100 mark, which seems to be kind of near the high end to what millennials and new investors are willing to pay for a stock. Now here's one I actually discussed in my recent video, and I really did want to see a split during their earnings call earlier in the week, but unfortunately nothing was announced. However, Nvidia does have a history of splitting their stock, and based on their recent price movement, it's one of my top contenders personally for a stock split, and Cramer of course has it listed here as well, so I'm not alone in this thinking. Hopefully we see an announcement in coming weeks for this, and at this rate, there's a pretty high chance, I think, that we still see a split by the end of this year. Here's another one that I listed for my recent video, Adobe, and we have it here at number 6, and they have done 5 stock splits in their history, so it's a very likely candidate to see another split as well. This is another high flyer stock, so a split would only help the momentum continue in my eyes, and should be something that the Adobe board should consider seriously. Adobe is another stock approaching $500 per share, so a 5-for-1 split, getting it down to around the $100 sweet spot would probably be a good move. So now, so far, apart from Chipotle, these have pretty much all been tech plays, but the next couple of stocks are retail plays, which I found pretty interesting. Costco is one of my favorite retailers out there, and their stock has been on a tear in the last year. Similar to others, Costco has done splits in the past, but a long time ago, so they are due for another one now. The stock sits near $350 per share, which can be seen as very expensive for a retail stock, and I think many would be interested in buying this in the $50 range or so. If you look at many other retail companies, their stocks are usually very low dollar values. Some of them are even in single digits, and that attracts a lot of interest. So Costco could use this to their advantage and bring the stock price down under $100 per share. Personally, from my investment perspective, it still doesn't change the fact that I think Costco is a bit expensive here today, so I wouldn't be buying it regardless, but I would like to see this happen because I think it will be a good thing for the company in the long term. The popular home improvement store Home Depot is number 8, and this stock has a rich history of splitting their stock in the past as well. In fact, Home Depot has done 13 splits in the past, guys, so this is not out of the realm of likely to happen once again. Home Depot stock isn't really, quote, expensive right now when you compare it to other tech stocks, for example, but it is expensive when you compare it to other retailers, so this could be another good psychological move to split their stock going forward. Facebook is next on the list, and if you've been following my channel for a little while, you know that I've been a long-term bull on this company. They have never done a stock split in their history, and honestly, I don't think that they should do one either. I think it does show that Facebook is a premium company here with a stock price at near $300 per share. In my opinion, I think there's a low possibility of seeing this stock split unless we see Facebook run to like $500 per share or something in the coming months, so I wouldn't really get my hopes too far up for a stock split here. So those are the top 9, and we're gonna finally close off here with number 10. Pause the video, leave a guess in the comment section down below if you know what number 10 is, but either way, here it is. Mr. Softy, Microsoft is number 10, and prior to the tech bubble, this stock had gone through 9 different splits. But for me, I have a similar view really on Microsoft as with Facebook. I think the stock price isn't all that high when compared to its peers, so a split might not really do much here for Microsoft. I wouldn't mind either way personally, but I think Microsoft should be focusing on other possible things like, that TikTok acquisition that they're trying to take hold of, instead of wasting resources to figure out if their stock should split or not at this $200 per share level. So that's kind of the top 10 list here from Jim Cramer himself. And while I do agree with a lot of his picks, I think there's a couple on there like Facebook and Microsoft that don't really need to split their stock. Because when you compare to their peers, Amazon, Apple, Tesla, all these other massive tech companies, their stock prices are still relatively cheap. But anyways, if what's happening right now with Tesla stock and Apple stock is any indication of what these other companies could see if they split their stock, we have a ton more upside here in the stock market, and momentum can keep going for a very long time if these companies choose to split their stock in the near future. So guys, out of this top 10, let me know in the comment section down below which ones you are most excited for. I would say for me personally, Amazon will probably make a lot of headlines, but Nvidia is one that I really do want to see split their stock. Either way guys, hope you enjoyed this quick video here. Drop a like down below, subscribe if you're brand new here. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to invest positively. Peace.